Welcome, guys, back to the Sonny Talks Spurs YouTube channel. We're back again with another live stream. I think it's now the third live stream of the Sonny Talks Spurs live stream era, I guess we'll call it, because we're now starting to do a few more of these on the channel. And I thought, what better way than to start with the first game and the first weekend of the return of the Premier League. We're now back in the 25-26 season. Spurs start with a win. And, you know, I've been away for the weekend. I've been in Bristol seeing some friends. And I thought, you know, I didn't do my match reaction because I was away. So why not do a live stream to wrap up the Premier League weekend? I know we've got a game tomorrow, and that is obviously Leeds versus Everton. But, you know, some of the big games are already out of the way. We've had Tottenham, we've had Arsenal, Man United, City, Chelsea. And there's still massive transfer news to talk about. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. And I just want to say before we get going, and I'm sorry about the audio and technicalities at the beginning, I forgot that I had a tab up that had the live stream in. So that was a little bit annoying. But I'll say hi to Eze or Eze in Eze. Eze, is that short for Eze? Who says, yes, Sonny in the comments. Aaron saying, no, Sonny. What's the no about? Are you worried? Hello from Sindar Nar, and Paul from Singapore says, hi, Sonny. A big hello from Qatar. Thanks for doing the live stream. You are very, very welcome. We now have 75 of you watching the live stream, 7 likes. My aim and goal for this live stream is to hit 150 likes. If you like this video, it gets sent around the algorithm and people get to look at me and watch my great content. And before we go any further, I want to say a massive thank you to you guys for tuning in. Leave your likes, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And also, if you want to leave a super chat, I would be very, very grateful. But yeah, we now have 87 of you watching, and I'm sure I'll be plugging different comments. Also, leave your questions about anything and everything in the comment section. What did you make of the win over Burnley? What did you make of, you know, the latest of the transfer rumours? Any other results in the Premier League? What do you reckon about that? And I'm saying Simon Waters is saying my audio is still dodgy. I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to make sure this is a more smoother experience, but we will get there, I am sure, and have no doubt. But what I'll do is I'll start by giving my opinion to Spurs beating Burnley. And I feel like it was a very good result. You know, 3-0. I'll be honest, I think Burnley are going to be one of the poorer sides in the Premier League this season. I worry for them and their manager, Scott Parker, just haven't got enough quality. I think, you know, they didn't look terrible, but, you know, when a Spurs side who, you know, are still having some players settling in, new manager and whatnot, and they're just getting battered 3-0. It's not good. You know, really amazing goals from Richarlison. Fantastic goals from Brendan Johnson as well. And I just thought it was an amazing performance from Spurs. Mohamed Kudus looks fantastic. Just a really good performance with, you know, different opposition compared to PSG, a different sort of midfield and lineup. And I'm really confident in the Thomas Frank era that we are going to be able to do a lot. But as I said, yeah, get your questions down below. 108 of you watching, 20 likes. If we can get those likes up, that would be amazing. Obviously, I'm doing this live off the back of some transfer news. Obviously, Eze and Savino, still 2 players that we are very, very keen on signing. And at the moment, it looks like Eze is edging closer. He played today, obviously, from Crystal Palace, for Crystal Palace, rather, against Chelsea. Had a goal disallowed controversially. If you've got any other questions involving the Premier League weekend, also let me know. What did you make of certain teams? Are you worried about any team? Are you thinking that a team that you saw wasn't good enough? Where do Tottenham now finish in the Premier League after a result against Burnley? Does it go up or down? And then, obviously, Savino. Savino apparently was injured, according to Pep Guardiola, but posted a picture of himself in the gym. Apparently seems fine to us. And also, we would have to put in a bit of a nicer bid for him, around, 80 million euros that Manchester City supposedly wants. Whereas Eze apparently would be worth around, we could get him for just over £60 million. So not bad at all. Deco Doe says, if we don't sign Eze and Savio, we should protest Levy out. I'll be honest, I think the window so far has been okay, but we do need a bit more. We need those 2 players if we want to move up the table. I'm thinking if we get those 2 players in, 5th and 6th, if we don't, 7th and 8th, it's that much of a difference. Grant Harry says, a great win, a really solid team performance. Just wish we get these transfers sorted. They wouldn't really happen over the Premier League weekend, would they? But hopefully, Johan Langer and Fabio Paratici have been working on these behind the scene. And I just think Eze, I'm not too worried about Eze playing for Palace today. I feel like he's just being a gentleman and just, not kicking up a fuss like Isak is, like Visser is. I respect it. There was I saw Oliver Glasner, the Crystal Palace manager, say after the game that he expects him to play this Thursday in a Europa League qualifier. Not Europa League. They're not in the Europa League. A bit below the belt, that one. But a Europa Conference League. It's not called Europa anymore. Conference League qualifier. So we'll see what happens with that. Geek Jinx says we should look in the mirror in the shame for even thinking that. What does that? What do you mean by that? What do you mean? I need some more clarity on what you mean with that reply. Simon Walter says, hopefully we can carry on upsetting Man City in the league. I'm confident we can still sign 2 players. I mean, Man City, they looked electric against Wolves. Wolves looked quite poor. I thought Reinders was absolutely fantastic. What a midfield signing he's going to be. Rodri, who? Haaland looks deadly as ever, but we know we've got the factor. We've got the Erling Haaland, looked solid. I was really impressed with him, but the factors we've got Thomas Frank, who and his Brentford side loved playing against Manchester City, and Spurs have a great record against Manchester City as well. Next question. Too Don Soulful says, feel it in my bones that leaving these very strange negotiations will cost us both players and overseas will cost us dear. He's got a rat this week. This week is going to be a massive week for Levy, for Tottenham. We need to get both these players in. I think more creativity would be fantastic. I think we looked really good from a creative sense against Burnley, but it is Burnley. We have to remember that. Steve Webb says we're not signing either of them. It's the Tottenham way. Just see. Next couple of days, I'm confident something will get announced and something will be decided. And Jeppe Hoy says, Eze is nearly confirmed and Pep have said he is going nowhere, but Savino here have given his okay to Spurs. Both players are keen on joining, and you can't stand sometimes in the way of a player when they want to leave. When they want to leave a team, if they're both adamant they want to leave, then I feel like it could happen. We've just got to offer the money up for both these players. Obviously, I want Eze more than Savino, but I would love both. Honestly, I feel like they'd be amazing under Thomas Frank and this Tottenham side. I'd really be confident of that. But just to put a little break in here, over 160 of you, 164 to be exact, are watching the stream right now. Thank you very much. But only 37 likes. My aim is to get 150 likes on this video. So if each and every one of you like this video, that would be fantastic. It just helps me out massively and helps grow this channel. We're on the road to 10,000 subs as well. So subscribe if you are not already. And also, if you want to be very, very generous, I also accept super likes or super chats, whatever they're called. I always forget what they're called, but would really appreciate that as well. And as I said, we're talking about, I want your questions about Spurs against Burnley. What did you make of it? Any good things? Any bad things you noticed? The transfer dealings were also being linked with a move for Bayer Leverkusen's Hincapi. What do you make of that? And also looking ahead to Manchester City next weekend and anything from the Premier League weekend. What did you make of certain teams? I want all your questions. I'll be probably online till around 8 o'clock. As I said, I was away for the weekend in Bristol, seeing some friends, and obviously have not posted a video or my reaction to Burnley. So I wanted to jump on a live to give you guys a nice piece of content for your Sunday evening. I know people get the Monday blues, but yes, I feel like this is the sort of content we want to do after a Premier League weekend. We've got one more game to go. We've just had the big 4:30 kickoff. I've caught the second half. Gyökeres is nowhere near as good as Richarlison, and that is what I have to say about that. Right, where was my last question? Eze is nearly, yeah, we saw that. Jamie Vardy 882. Are you a Spurs fan, by the way, Jamie Vardy? I saw you comment on my one the other day, but yeah, good username there. Looked like Eze said goodbye to Palace fans, but I don't think to say anything. Morgan Gibbs White did the same thing. I mean, Morgan Gibbs White, he wanted to leave, didn't he? I mean, I know he got an assist today, captain the side, but yeah, hard to tell, really. I mean, he was being subbed off. He would clap. So I saw those images, but it's hard to know, really what those sort of things actually mean. Brian Barnett says, if Eze is coming to us, why would he risk injury? I think he's just gentleman's agreement. I feel like, I heard a report saying that Glasner had tactics for today. If anything, look, they've got a 0-0 away at Stamford Bridge, a really, really solid result. And with that, I mean, Mark Gahey was playing as well, and he wants to leave and go to Liverpool. So it's hard to look into these things. I know as football fans with social media, we look at all the nitty gritty to see, what we think of what we like. We're analysing. We're looking into the minor details. Who are they following on Instagram? It's really funny how footballers come around like this. But as I say, next couple of days we will be more clear ahead of playing Manchester City on the early kickoff on Saturday. Gary Rodell says, "What is wrong with all our fans? Didn't we just win a cup? Sign a baller from West Spam, and I'm pretty sure we just won 3-0. Kudos, by the way. What a player he is. So many West Ham fans, and after their result against Sunderland, ha ha ha. What a player he is. What an absolute incredible player he is. I'm just in utter state of disbelief. There's a reason I put him on the fun because he was so good. I mean, Saul was good. The fullbacks were good. Centre backs, everyone was good. I mean, Richarlison. What do we make of Richarlison now? Like, is Richarlison back with a vengeance? I mean, honestly, the performance he put in against PSG was one thing, but the goals. I mean, the overhead kick giving me the vibe of his Brazil. He knows it's World Cup year, and he knows we're releasing a yellow third kit, so the Brazilian vibes were there. Dot on, actually, 200 of you are watching and 62 likes. If we can get that like up to my goal of 150, I'd be eternally grateful. It's now gone down to 199. Someone must not have liked my little plug there. But yeah, JS Limmy just puts equals. Don't know what you mean by that. Ronnie says Eze is not coming. What makes you think that? Is it because he played today? I am really confused about the whole situation. Playing is, it's in his contract. It's like, when you have a contract in a normal job, people have to go and do their work. And, he's not kicking up a fuss. I feel like we have the players who are not kicking up a fuss. But we've seen Isak, Visser, they've all kicked up a fuss. Gokares kicked up a fuss. And look how long it took for them to eventually sign / how delayed their moves have been. The official TalkSport account. People may not know, obviously, I work for TalkSport. They've left a little comment, like for our man, Sonny. You heard the people. Leave your likes down below. Ian Ban says, how do you know the players want to leave their present clubs and also want to come to Spurs? It's been reported, Ian. It's been reported. Fabrizio Romano's reported it. Ornstein, Paul O'Keefe, Alistair Gold. They're all reporting this information. I always like to report the facts on this channel and from reliable and reputable sources. A lot of people have asked me, why do I use pictures of Fabrizio Romano on thumbnails? It's because if he's reporting it, it's solid piece of information. I said this on a live stream the other day. I want you guys, if you're Spurs fans watching this or whatever club, just make sure you're looking at reliable and reputable sources because that's where the key information is. And I have notifications on Twitter for Ornstein because when he's reporting it, it's fact. Even TalkSport will only and triple and double check their sources, like Alex Crook and Ben Jacobs. They're very, very reliable journalists. Some of these like outlets from different countries, it's hard to know what's true and what's not. And on Twitter, a lot of it can be taken out of context. I've seen like people on YouTube videos talking out of context, and you just don't know what's right and what's wrong. So you've got to make sure. I mean, a lot of us, if we think about it, we all got absolutely scorched by the here we go from Fabrizio Romano on Moore Gibbs White. So a lot of us now are just waiting to see a player holding the shirt. So if that's the thing as well, I talk a lot about transfer rumours and potential moves. So, we've got to really sift through what is, fact and what's fiction. Next question is from Jamie Vardy 882 again. Why didn't Levy pay the 7 mil? It's stupid. If you're talking about his release clause, the release clause, for those of you who didn't know, obviously, Eberechi Eze has had, up until Friday, a £68 million release clause. But what that meant was you had to pay a lot of the fee up front. And what we've done with, for example, with Mohamed Kudus is that was a £55 million fee. But we split that and pay it over a few years. So it's like 18 million a year or something. That's what we want to do. We want to, I think at the moment we're negotiating between 55 upwards, 60 million, obviously a lot less, but we're trying to negotiate that Palace do get a bit of fee up front And what you got to take into consideration as well, I didn't realise this. Obviously, the player was signed from Palace or by Palace from QPR, and they have a sell-on clause. So they've got to, cut their cloth accordingly and make enough money to then pay QPR the sum. Because I think the same is with Amari Hutchinson. Amari Hutchinson is set to go to Brentford from Ipswich. They acquired him from Chelsea. Chelsea are getting £9 million. It's savvy business. They all do it. All these big clubs, your Real Madrid, your Cities, they've got buyback clauses, sell-on clauses, something that Tottenham and Daniel Levy should be doing if they want to be clever businessmen and people. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but over 250 of you watching the live stream. Thank you so, so much. 88 likes. My goal today is to get 150 likes on this video. So if all of you like this video, that would hit the goal and I would be a happy Spurs fan after such a glorious weekend. The sun's been out and Spurs got their first win under Thomas Frank in the Premier League. We're closing in on 100 likes. And as I said, if you are new and you're just discovering me right now on the Sonny Talks Spurs YouTube channel, I do match reactions. I didn't do one this weekend. I was away. That's why I'm doing a live stream. Starting to do more live streams. I do in-depth analysis. I've got a big one coming on Tuesday about Tottenham and the state of play with their attack and squad that Thomas Frank is building. So that's going to be exciting. And also, if you are in a very generous mood, I take super likes and super chats. But obviously, only do that if you can afford it. But next question then. We were up to Darren Sachs. He says, come on, you Spurs. Exactly. Come on, you Spurs. What a weekend. That was a good comment to follow my little spiel there. Declan Doe says, against Burnley, our defensive was sloppy at times, but in Frank, I believe against the top four teams will be difficult to score against. I'll be honest. I saw obviously I didn't watch the game live. I watched the highlights because it was a 3:00 game. And Burnley had chances, but there weren't a chance where I was like, wow, they were definitely going to score for that. There was one where it sort of bounced and ricocheted in the box, and Vicario, how he held it was very, very impressive. But yeah, it was comfortable. It was comfortable. I know what a lot of people. My dad was texting me when it was 1-0, going like, I've got a funny feeling about this, and then we scored straight away. So thanks for my dad in being the reverse jinx. Jamie Vardy 882 says, yes, I support Spurs. Good to hear. Why is your name Jamie Vardy then? I'm throwing the questions out to you. Dan Davenport says, hey, Sonny, when are you going to be on Sky Sports News Fan Zone show? Is this the Friday night one with Roman Kemp? I used to work for Sky, but obviously because I work for TalkSport, and I'm contracted staff there, there's sometimes things with not being allowed to do certain shows. I do a lot of podcasts. Obviously, a good time to plug this. TalkSport this year, I was on it a lot last year. They have a show called Inside Spurs. They have a lot of inside shows. They've got Devils for United, Inside Gooners for Arsenal, but we don't talk about that one. But Inside Spurs, usually it's me, Majestic, and also was Darren Ambrose this week, former Palace player, who's also a massive Spurs fan. But if you haven't watched that, go and watch that. It's on the TalkSport YouTube channel. We talk about Eze, we talk about Savinho, we reacted to the Super Cup, we previewed Burnley. So obviously what the transfer section is really good because Darren obviously used to play for Crystal Palace, gives great insight, being alongside a top footballer. So I'm on that a lot. So go and subscribe to the TalkSport YouTube account and you can see that on a weekly basis. And also this season, I was on the pilot. It didn't get aired, but on Wednesday, we did a dress rehearsal for the TalkSport Goals show. It went out yesterday as well, for the Premier League games, but I was watching a practice. We were testing out all the graphics in the new TalkSport studio. If you haven't seen the new TalkSport studio, absolutely wicked, by the way. Unbelievable. And we watched it, and I'm sort of glad that one didn't go out on air. I'm glad it was a pilot and a tester because, as you can imagine, when it was 2-0, I was buzzing. When it went 2-2 and on the penalties, I was a sad boy. Next up, we have Jep Hoy. Do you think Frank is running a 5 at the back against City? I mean, I was saying this the other day, actually. It's good to see that the 3 at the back works. And these are the games where the 5 at the back probably will come out. It will be your Manchester City away. Away is when I'm saying these teams, it's usually going to be about away. Liverpool, Arsenal, even United. Teams where they might have more of the ball than us. But if you can imagine going to City, City, their midfield yesterday, against Wolves, Reinders looks absolutely incredible. So I think a midfielder, Palhinha, Bentancur, probably Saab will be needed. But was happy with Bergvall. Thought he looked fantastic. against Burnley. And then you also had what's it called? Old Archie Gray, not old, young Archie Gray, who looked absolutely fantastic as well. Hamdan says, "Are we getting Eze now?" Where do I even start with this? At the moment, obviously, Tottenham pushing really hard for Eze. They really want the player. The player's keen on the move. We've just got to pay up, basically. We've just got to pay up. That's all we can do. Hopefully, in the next couple of days, we will see, here we go, a bomba from Ornstein, and then I'll be happy. Vidar Björk says, think Hincapi will be good with Danzo. I mean, ideally, I think our back line is fine. You know, it depends about Vuskovic, but Danzo, I think, has been incredible since he signed. And I saw the fee; it's only like less than 20, which is absolutely incredible. So yeah, Hincapi would be good. Maybe good cover at left, and then Jed Spence can play right back as well. Nice little transfer that one would be. So yeah, would be really happy about that. Christian Ipson says, and it's just scrolled down on the chat. I find it more strange that the club potentially selling their product / player would risk them getting injured. Truly unprofessional, in my opinion. But he's still their player. He's still contracted to them, so he will play. And until they, I don't know if we saw over the weekend as well. I think Ornstein dropped a few exclusives. They're looking at El Canoes from Leicester, so that could be his potential replacement, and also a player from Club Brugge whose name has escaped me. I only read the tweet very quickly yesterday, so they are looking at possible replacements. But what you got to remember, they played Chelsea away at Stamford Bridge. They need their top players when they have them and when they still have them. So, there was a lot of backwards and forwards on Twitter about whether he would start or not. So, yeah, 295 of you watching the stream then. Make sure you get your likes. We're nearly close to the 150 target, but the more you like it, the more people see me and the more I grow. And if you love what you see on the Sonny Talks Spurs YouTube channel and want other people to see it, that's how we spread the word, because I try and be level-headed. I try and give my best insight and statistical opinion, but we're all Tottenham Hotspur fans at heart. It does get emotional. And I'm on cloud nine at the moment. And as I've said that, I think some people weren't on cloud nine because they've just checked out. Timothy Whitaker says, Levy will probably order in a meze instead. That's good. I do like a good meze. Do you prefer a hot or cold meze, Timothy? That's the question we all want to know. And just to let you know, I'll probably be going... doing this live till about 8 o'clock because I have a grocery delivery coming a bit after that, and I don't want to upset the girlfriend and all the food goes off. Dan Davenport says Spurs board didn't trigger Eze's release clause, which has expired. Yes, because as I said earlier, the release clause was £68 million, but it would have meant that we had to send more to... send more money or spend more money up front. I think they wanted like £30 million or £40 million up front. And as we see with modern transfers, people like to, pay 15 million per year over a 5-year contract or whatever it is. That's just what it is. And Liston Hines, great name, by the way, if that's your name, says and makes a great point to back that up. And Buemo took 7 weeks for United to land, and we don't have 7 weeks, unfortunately. That's true, but, basically what happened there was United went in very low ball, which is what Levy likes to do, and eventually met the 70 million asking price that that Brentford wanted. And also what we've got to remember is, what's it called? We've freed up a lot of wages by Son leaving. And there is a bit of headspace for us to give Eze the sort of fee and wages that he deserves, because he'll be coming in and be such a strong player. Apparently, I've not watched the Chelsea game back. I was driving during the time. The only game I watched today was the second half of Arsenal United. If you watch that, what did you make of Arsenal? What did you make of Man United? And Gokares is now 001. He could never be Richarlison, a European champion, but Eze apparently was the best player on the pitch, and he had a disallowed goal. So that's saying something. If he had scored it, his value would have gone up until like silly amounts. So I'm happy he didn't score. Maybe Edwin Peary says, "Come on, you Spurs, sign them all." That's what I want to hear. I want Daniel Levy to go and make some moves and sign these players. That would make me a very happy Spurs fan. Vidar Björk says, think Hincapi with Danzo as a backup to Romero and VDV. Yep, I think that's a very good shout. I think they come in and they both be really, really strong players. Just to let you know, 151 likes. The target has been hit, but I'm hungry for more. I want 200 likes. I've said this. It's like I want Savino and I want Eze. I want more likes as well. 300 of you watching as well. So if all of you like this video, then we'll get the like target up even higher. So next question was Bad Nasha saying, evening Sunny. Evening Bad Nasha. Hope you're well. Hope you've had a good weekend. Hope you've all had a really lovely weekend in the sunshine. Vinod Kumar says, Sunny, are we getting Collins? I imagine you mean Nathan Collins. And after seeing how Brentford got on today, hopefully not. Hopefully not. Because I think that would be not the best side. Well, he's all right, isn't he? But I think we've got enough defensive cover, really. I mean, Hincapie I wouldn't mind having, but we'll see. Hincapie's going to be wild if he comes. Yeah, I mean, he does look like a very good, versatile player to play across that back line. The Romano here we goes have somewhat lost their sparkle. I mean, it is quite cringy. I will say that it is very cringy, the Romano here we go. But I mean, I saw a thing actually. There's a TikTok where he's had a lot of howlers with Here We Goes, including Morgan Gibbs White, and including two Ziyech transfers, Ziyech to PSG and Ziyech to Al Nasser. So don't always trust the Here We Go. Big fan, Sonny. Would you sign a defender, and who ideally? A defender wouldn't be top of my list. I think we're covered with left back. We've got Dogi and we've got Jed Spence, who I thought was great again yesterday. Pedro Porro on the right. Archie Gray can play there as well. He played so many games there for Leeds. Defenders, I think we're pretty stacked. But if a deal can come up for Hincapie, I wouldn't mind us going in for him. I think that would be a very logical transfer to go for. But, I'd rather us save the fee if it means getting Eze and getting Savino. I think we need more attackers than we do defensive reinforcements this summer. Who did we get up to? Micah Standen says, big fan, Sonny. Would you? Oh, I've just read that. Soul Sniper Gaming says, what day will Eze be announced? Wednesday for me. Possible. I mean, we'll see how the negotiations go, but a slap bang in the middle of the week. I think they ideally want it to get done before the Manchester City game. Does he start? If we sign these players, do they start? And also, I bet Savino doesn't happen before that, because I could imagine City don't want to sign him and he score against them or something. Frenick said, just joined. What have I missed? I mean, we're talking, Frenick, just to give you an update, we're talking about Spurs versus Burnley. We're talking about the transfer window, Eze and Savino. We're talking about the Premier League weekend in general. So get your questions in regarding those subjects. We'll stream till about 8 o'clock. As I say, I've got a grocery order coming and I'll need to answer the door for that when it comes. Alex Cool says, nice one, Sonny. Again, I'm the only Sonny involved with Tottenham now, so the nice one Sonnies are aimed at me and not Heung-Min's son. I'm crying. No, it's okay. We'll bounce back, won't we? And get some, Eze 7. That's where we'll be. Eze. Oh, Savino 7's got a nice ring to it as well. Right. I keep scrolling too far down and missing the question. Nice one, Sonny. Liston Hines back again. If we are close to get Eze and Savino, we surely should have the money to definitely get one of them. I think we need to get both, personally. I would love to get both. But you know what happens. Tottenham, we might not get either. So you got to just cross your fingers and your toes and hopefully we get both. Jamie Vardy, A82 says, Jamie Vardy is one of my favourite players. If you're a Spurs fan and you like Jamie Vardy, the amount of rubbish he's given us by pointing as a Premier League badge, I'm not sure about that one, Jamie Vardy, A82. I'd like to know what the comment section think about that. Roland Samuel says, Savino and Richarlison, Brazil preparing for the World Cup at Spurs. And, mate, when they get that yellow kit that's being rumoured with the centralised Spurs badge, it will have that Brazilian flair to a T. Dan Davenport says, give Jason Cundy some stick when you next see him, Sonny. Do you know what? I saw him before as I said, I was doing that at the TalkSport show. And we said hello to each other, but luckily the penalties haven't been done yet. I actually watched the penalties with O'Hara, and it was very entertaining. I mean, we were both head in our hands at the end, but yeah. Alas. Guy Lilly says, double bomber finally coming from Romano this evening. Oh, I mean, if it did come, I mean, it would be the perfect end to the perfect weekend, wouldn't it? Donna Cullen says, Wagwan, Mr. Sonny. Hello to you too. Hope you're doing well. Romeo says, Romeo, what am I saying? Romeo says, Richie can do so much more than Son. I've never seen Son do acrobatics. I mean, yeah, I will give you that. But, I mean, Son is a Spurs legend. Richarlison at the moment is a Spurs cult hero. So hopefully, hopefully Richarlison can prove himself this season. I think he's got a lot to still prove at Tottenham in a Spurs shirt. But, the season, I mean, he's had a fantastic game against PSG. He got in a lot of minutes in pre-season, which is great for his fitness. If he can stay fit, that's what on the last live stream I was talking about Richarlison, and I said he was on my sell list going into this year. But I love him. I think he's fantastic. He's a bit of a cult icon, isn't he? But it's his fitness, and there was deals on the table from Saudi reportedly, and Palmeiras in Brazil. But ideally, do we need a backup striker? Not if Richarlison's fit. And, if he's putting in performances like he did yesterday, he might even be pushing Solanke for that starting spot. But when Solanke came on, there was a nice little chance that he had as well. So both of them are perfect for this Frank system. They're just dogged. They'll press. They'll do all they can. Just another little plug. 275 of you watching. We hit 300. Could we get back up to 300? If you like the video, more people will see this. If we can end the stream with 200 likes, I'll be very, very grateful. And if you have not subscribed, do that down below. And if you are generous and love me to bits, leave a super like, but no pressure on that one. I know people, tough times in this economy. So I don't expect anything, but would like to plug that because obviously it helps me and supports the channel during these live streams. Next question. Vidar Björk says Tottenham is interested in Dani Olmo. I wouldn't read too much into that. I've not seen too many reliable sources, and I think Dani Olmo is a class player, but I can see Barcelona keeping him. I can't see him coming to White Hart Lane. Paul from Singapore says, yes, I listen to your channel because of your level-headedness. I know us Tottenham fans can lose our heads easy, but, there's always a bigger picture. There's always something, going on that, worse in the world, you could say. So I always think football is a game. We love it to bits, but we have to look sometimes at the bigger picture. Don't look short term, look long term. We've won 2 trophies. I've seen us win 2 trophies in my lifetime. And hopefully under Thomas Frank, we can build and grow into a successful, consistent team as well. Bad Nash says, which youth players are you most excited about? Funny enough, I'll plug this video now. My most viewed video, if you've not seen it already, and it's at the top of my page if you go to the most popular videos, is about Luca Williams-Barnett. This player is so exciting. It's, we're talking about number 10s, with Madison and Kulusevski out. If I was Thomas Frank, I'd be getting him in around the first team. He'd probably just play for the under-21s, but he is very, very exciting. I think he's great. He would be my youth player to watch this year at under-21 level, basically at under-21 level, but I wouldn't be surprised if he gets some minutes in some other competitions. Frenix says, Levy has to get Eze this week. Get him settled before the City come. Before the City game, rather. Before City come. You could say that as well. We're going to them. But, yeah, I think we need to get those deals sorted ASAP. Keep your eyes peeled over the next couple of days. Hopefully something will happen. Bucky78 says, Crystal Palace manager says Eze is going nowhere. But like Thomas Frank was asked about Eze, like they can't give too much away. It just is the way of how these things work. So we'll just see. We'll see how it plays out. We'll see what happens. Yepe Hoy says the Tell hate needs to stop. Yeah, I just want to put this out there. I'd like to think it's no Tottenham Hotspur fans are giving hate to Tell, especially some of the abuse I've seen in replies to his social media posts. If anyone's doing that, they're not a Tottenham fan. They're not a football fan. They're despicable. There's no need for it in the game. There's no need for it in life. Back Tell. I think Tell has got potential. I think he can be a good player if he's used wisely. If he's sort of gradually growing into the game. And what we've got to remember is this guy is a European champion. And he had his moments last year. And he was chucked in the deep end last year. We've got to remember he came in halfway through the season. He was like, had to do post-match press conferences. He was stopping Anne from arguing with fans. This guy's a star. And what I've seen as well from him for France under-21s, he has got a lot of potential. I also want to know if any of you haven't seen already, what have you made of my appearances on Zach Jalab's recent videos? Me and Rory Talks Football had a little debate about Arsenal. If you haven't seen it as well, that is a clip on my shorts tab, so you can go and watch that, or you can go and watch the full clip on my channel as well. That was my last upload, so if you want to go and watch that after, you can go and watch that as well. Next question is from Jason Focus. I think it gets done, but we just need to hold on a little more. Comedy Spurs. Yeah, I think we have just got to be, keep the faith, keep the confidence. We are going to sign both these players. I'm putting my neck on the line. I think we're going to do it after we can't be scarred again by Morgan's White and Eze. Oh, I would be in absolute tears. Next question. Frederick says, I wish Levy WM. I'm not sure what that means. You might have to clarify that. Thomas Owen says, does everyone need to wait until 5 games before predicting the season? Yeah, I mean, we've got a real mixed bag, haven't we? We've got City next week, who looked electric against Wolves. We then got Bournemouth have lost quite a few defensive players, but looked still quite good against Liverpool. Semenyo, who's linked with us, scored 2 goals. And then we've got West Ham after that. So, I mean, West Ham, they looked okay, but to lose 3-0 with Sunderland, they are under a lot of pressure already. Alex says, anyone else see Fabio Paratici at the game? Are you saying you saw him? I saw him. He was at the Super Cup, but if anyone can confirm whether Fabio Paratici was at the Spurs Burnley game yesterday, let me know. And also, if any of you that were there yesterday, what was the atmosphere like? What was the first game back at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium like in the brand new season under Thomas Frank? Yeppe Hoy says, you can't call yourself a Spurs fan if you hate Tell. Spot on, mate. Couldn't agree more. Bad Nash says, thoughts on Harvey Elliott. I like Harvey Elliott. If we can't get Eze, this was before we came back in for Eze. If we can't get Eze, I'd go for Harvey Elliott. But, who knows what's going to happen with Harvey Elliott? He, doesn't look like he has a future at Liverpool, but, he's been linked with a move to RB Leipzig. And if Xavi Simons does make his move to Chelsea, then possibly that there is that possibility that he, then they then go back in for him. Also, talk about transfer sagas. We talk about what's his name, about Xavi Simons. That one's taking a long time to sort. So it really depends on what happens. It really, these negotiations and transfers do take a lot of time. They do take tons and tons of time. They're not, Rome wasn't built in a day. It's a stereotypical thing we say in football. But yeah, CG says, Eze, us staying at Palace, mate. Oh, I guess you meant Eze is staying at Palace, mate. We will see about that. Don't be so hopeful. Eltel Cockerell says, evening, Sonny. Hope you're well, mate. Hello, all in the chat as well. If you're not subscribed to Eltel, go and subscribe to him as well. He's a great content creator. We'll have to link up soon, mate. We've not done content. I don't think we've done content at all. So be good to get up and do some content. Jake Evans says, big up, Sonny. You and Sean Butler, my 2 fave Spurs info boxes. That means a lot to me, mate. I really appreciate it. I get a bit flustered when I read messages like that because I'm just a normal guy talking about Tottenham. When I'm not on TalkSport talking about Tottenham, I'm on here talking about Tottenham. It is the way that my life revolves. I'm obsessed with Tottenham. But if you've got any other questions or want to talk about anything in the Premier League, I'll probably be streaming, as I say, till about 8 o'clock. And we have 198 likes. My goal tonight was 150. If we could get 2 more, I would be ecstatic. 263 of you watching. And as I say, if you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel. 1 like away now from 200. And also, if you want to leave a super chat, feel free to. Any amount would be amazing. I would, I understand people can't, someone the other day left £10 and it absolutely blew my mind. I was like, what the hell? I'm just a guy, like £10. But yeah, really appreciate all your guys' support. We now got 209 likes since I said that. So thank you guys. You are all absolutely class. And I know a lot of you are my, I just want to say, like, I'll use this moment to have a little bit of a chat about the channel. This channel now has been going for, I think it's going into my 3rd season. We're now on, I've just had a look, 9,313 likes. I did 1,000 subs last month, which to me was one of my best ever months for subs. But closing in on 10, my aim was to get 10,000 by the end of this year. But if we can get that before that, which is looking like we will by the stats on my channel, I would be absolutely over the moon. And it's down to you guys, me getting opportunities, me appearing on Zach's channel and podcasts and, being on a video with, all sorts of other creators. it is, it's been my dream to do this. So I really appreciate all you guys' support. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here doing it. But next question, enough of that. We want to talk about football. Feral Ferret says, would it make any difference to the sale? It would just be in the contract that you can't play against City for that game. Possibly. I mean, I don't know how many of those contracts actually exist in football anymore, but we will see. Vidar Björk says, if we don't get Eze, should we go for Olmo? I don't think we get Olmo. It just depends, doesn't it? Like, I think Eze is 80% there. I think we just got to agree the fee. The personal terms are all done. We just got to try and get it over the line in the next 48 to 72 hours. Michael King says, we definitely get an Eze. As I just said, I'm not sure. I've not got any sources, but as soon as I find something, I'll probably do a video reacting to it and just see what we're talking about. Today's live stream is about what I've heard the latest from Twitter and all that stuff. Michael King also says, if Richarlison can get 15 to 20 goals, I mean, if he performs like he has in the last 2 games, I would not put it against him. AB says, Spurs midfield trash. Don't know how he comes to that conclusion. They were fantastic against one of the best midfields in Europe the other night. I think Palini is a good signing. I think Bentancur, when fit, is great. Archie Graham Bergvall class. Papa Matasar, by the way, if he was at Brighton, people would be saying that guy's worth 100 million. He is stupid how good he is. What a player he is. I knew he would bang under Thomas the Frank Engine. That's my FPL name. Also, let me know how you got on the FPL. I'm having a very good weekend across all my leagues. Draft, normal, and I do another one that's not the FPL, another newspaper one, because my girlfriend's dad likes me to sign up to that yearly, and I came second last year, so I fancy my chances again. Paul from Singapore says, how did Marky Moore play for Rangers yesterday? I believe he had an assist, but I don't get much Scottish football on TV here. I don't actually know. Rangers, they beat Allo Athletic 4-2. Yeah, he got an assist. Apparently he was really, really good. And I'm glad he's getting consistent game time up there. Still so young. He's only just turned 18. So, yeah, I'm really hopeful we can see more from Mikey Moore. I think he did the post-match press conference. I don't know if they do post-match press. I saw him doing an interview up there. So it will just give him all sorts of good experience going into, what hopefully will be a fruitful career for him at Tottenham Hotspur. Bucky, get your last couple of questions in. I'll probably go for another 8 or so minutes, about 45 minutes plus on the live. We're about 43 right now. Bucky78 says, Eze release clause has expired. Could anyone report what is really going on? I said this earlier, Bucky. So the release clause was 68 million. That expired, but the terms were not good for that release clause. I think he's worth 68 million pounds personally, but what it meant was we had to pay more money up front for this deal. So around about 30 to 40 million. Whereas now we're trying to negotiate, like we've done with Kudos, we've paid 55 million, but it will be about 18 million pounds per year on the length of his contract. I'm bad at maths, how many years that is. Or 18 point something, whatever. Peter Sims says, kiss and tell. Is that your FPL name? Catchy if so. AB says, is top 8 good for Spurs? I said this earlier, AB. If we get Eze and Savino, I think 5th and 6th. If we don't, I think 7th or 8th. I think we've got a good little squad, but we need more depth and we need more creativity, and those players will come with that. I don't know how to say this. RD Trury says, don't believe Eze or Sav will happen. What are the other options? I think they will. I personally am putting my neck out on the line and think they will. But there'll be other players we're looking at. El Canouse we're looking at, for example. So hopefully we'll get someone over the line. But I think Eze and Savino are likely to happen. Savino didn't play this weekend. Pep said he was injured, but he wasn't. And Eze played, but, he wanted to, leave on a high with the Crystal Palace fans. Dan Davenport says, Sonny, I used to work for my local radio station, Banbury Sound, but the radio station had lots of money problems and changed to Capital, and I got made redundant. Sorry to hear that, but cool to hear you're involved in a radio station, or what were involved in a radio station as well. I love working for TalkSport. Do more video stuff, but the radio station is still the heart and soul of the company. Dub Nation 21 says he was at the Chelsea Palace game. Who was that? Who was at the Chelsea Palace game? Fabio Paratici? or someone else. Bad Nasher, late bid for Leandro Damiao. I mean, he could do a little job, couldn't he? Alex says Fabio Paratici was sat in front of Hazard at the Palace game, hopefully there to seal the Eze deal. I would love that if that is true. Yeah, Eltel Cockrell says Fabio Paratici was at the Chelsea game. Things I would love to hear. I think Levy didn't want to trigger Eze release clause because of the Morgan White situation, so he waited. Might make sense that he did. I think that it would be a really good shout. I think we're going around it the right way, guys. There's no need to panic. We'll see. Nick Gardner says I did the 200. What does that mean? Sorry, I keep forgetting what I've reacted to and what I haven't. Eltel Cockrell says, Sonny, the pleasure would be all mine. After this, if you're still here, Eltel, send me a little message on Twitter or something, and then we'll swap WhatsApps and we can get a link up together. I think that'd be good. Rashid at Manny says, hi, mate. Did you see the Palace game? Eze was taken off with 10 minutes to go, and the reaction from the Palace fans was a goodbye, and Eze gave his shirt to a fan straight up. It looked emotional, fingers crossed. Yeah, I saw that. It's hard to know what, we were saying this earlier in the video, hard to know what to look at and what, it's so, these situations are so strange because Morgan White was clapping the Forest fans in the game. It's hard to know. It's like Harry Kane did it, didn't he? Against Shakhtar Donetsk when he left 2 years ago. We'll see. We will see. As Jason Kellogg says, Eze will be announced in the next 24 hours. Here is hoping. Barty Gay says, yesterday sources were saying Eze is inch close to joining. Everything is agreed. We just need to bid and wait for Palace to see that here we go. Spot on. I think we just got to be really, really patient and see what happens. Eltel Cockrell says, smash a like for the stream. It all helps and is appreciated. Listen to the man. Honestly, please leave your likes. We're actually, this is really weird. 226 of you watching, 226 likes. So you might all have liked the video, but if you haven't, you know what to do. Subscribe if you haven't already, and super chats also appreciated. Really, I've only done 3 streams ever on the Sonny Talks Spurs YouTube channel, but this has been the most successful. What I'll do now is I'll answer the last couple of questions, then I'll end the stream. Eze has signed, ? He hasn't yet transfer news, Alfie, but hopefully in the next few days. That soldier says no one's signed yet, but we're holding out. We'll see what happens. We need 3. Paul Armstrong says we need 3 signs before window shuts. Well, we are linked to 3 players. It's Eze, it's Savino, and Hincapi. So we will see about that. Rob the Bob says audio is bad. I'm trying to sort this out. I'm trying to find a way to sort. My microphone is okay, but I have had a few audio issues with it. I apologize for that. It's just I actually meant to have a proper microphone coming soon, but that broke. So we're trying to sort it out. But yeah, I just, for the first couple of streams, I wanted to sort of sort out, get to see what it was like, and see if there was an appetite for these sort of streams. Rashid at me says, everyone in the chat and watching, hit the like for the man. Top show, Tottenham till I die. Thank you, mate. I really, really appreciate that. Rob Park says, please tell me that we are not going to bottle this one. Otherwise, I'll be extremely disappointed. This could be the difference between us having one of the best windows and a window that was, the one that got away. So I'm hoping Spurs will do what they can in this one. Rob says, getting bored of the Levy haters. We will secure Eze and a few more. I hope so, mate. I really, really hope so. Harvey04 says, I spoke to a friend who's Eze's cousin, said it's the chairman being difficult and he's not convinced Eze is going. What chairman? Levy or Parish? Because they're both tough negotiators. Bailey, West Ham get relegated, but do the double over Spurs Irons. Luke, you need to. I'm glad you're now coming to your senses that West Ham are going to be in for a tricky season. We're playing you in a couple of weeks. That's going to be a feisty little fixture. Nick Garden says, audio is roboty. Cables from mic keep away from other cables. Do you know what it is? That is what it is. So I've got a plug that is plugged into it. It's a bit sort of rubbish at the moment. I think I need to. I was going live. I was excited, so I will sort the audio out, guys, ahead of the next stream. Last couple of questions. Barty guys says, you think Manyan or Oblak or Martinez would be a good goalkeeper signing for us? We don't need a goalkeeper. I think Vicario is fine. I'm happy with him. And also we have Kinski in the background that we can use as well. So I'm not too fussed about that. Last 2 questions then. No Socks Gamer says, do we need Savino? We have enough wingers and Eze could play there too. To me, go all in for Eze. Eze is the one I want. But if we can get Savino, then if we can't get Savino, I won't be too upset. But I'm happy if we go all in for Eze. Chuck it. What's the Rio Ferdinand? Put whatever he wants, and give it to him. That would be. I'd be buzzing about that. Sam says, "How confident are you both sign?" I actually think they will. Sign. But it is how long is a piece of string, isn't it? Like we've as the comment below says, a Twan 55. Sonny, have you not learned? Willian had a pick line in his arm getting fluids before he ripped it out and scolded the F off to dodge. We ain't getting Eze, so sick of this. Great stream, by the way. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. But we will see. We will see what happens in the next few days. And just to wrap up, Harvey04 says it's Parish. Friend was at the game today watching and said Eze is going. Fingers crossed, guys. Fingers crossed. But just want to say, Thomas Owen, I mean, mate, I really appreciate this, has sent a super chat of $4.99. Thank you, mate. Really, really appreciate it. If any of you other guys want to send any super chats, I would really appreciate that. And as I said, at the moment, 280 you watching. We had 300 at one point, 235 likes. My aim was 150. We have got it. So if you aren't already subscribed, subscribe. But yeah, Aaron J, to finish off then, says, Sonny, you are the master jinx. Love the content though. I haven't jinxed too much. I'm just reporting to transfers, but I was confident about Morgan Gibbs White. So fingers crossed, guys. So that's my reaction then to Spurs beating Burnley 3-0. Eze and Savino latest, and all the reaction to the Premier League. But I'm going to end the stream there. Hope you guys have had a fantastic weekend. I should be back Tuesday with another video on the Sonny Talks Spurs YouTube channel. But as always, if you have liked this, leave your like, subscribe, and come on you Spurs. See you guys soon. Bye.